on now. So, when I talked in the last meeting, there were many subjects. This meeting is mainly, I am going to talk about our incoming club contest, which is declared on 25th January 2019, that is on a Friday. So all the members are requested to participate. We have senior members and newly completed project members, and some of them are going to complete their projects. They can also participate, especially international meeting. So on 24th meeting, we hope we can conduct the meeting here itself. We will take the permission from the authorities. For that, I already checked with some of our veteran members, those who are going to participate in international evaluation and different topics. There are also for humans. Some of them are already given their names. And now we need to find out the judges for evaluation for the club contest. That we need to call them outside the clubs. Our club members are not allowed as per the protocol. Second thing, the target speaker for evaluation, that also we need to arrange. So for that, somebody is interested to take the master of ceremony. This is the one of the challenging leadership role in protocol as per the, and they are getting, those who are taking, they get the points in Toastmaster meetings and in the leadership skill improvements. So the competent leadership, one of the points are there. So anybody interested of taking this role, master of ceremony, that he has to coordinate all the arranging the all the team and arranging the judges, finding speakers, timers, coordination for the tally counters, arranging stationaries, scripts, gift. This all he has to do with a team, not alone. So anybody interested, they can come forward. I think nobody was interested. Nobody is interested to come. Take maybe thinking that it's a big responsibility. Now, who is there? Can you take? Okay, great. Let us hear. Being a BP education, I think, is the apt for this job or this role. So next is his role to find out others, to help them, and we support. I am also ready for any roles, anytime. You can coordinate with all our members. How we can complete our successful our incoming club contest. And next is, as per the last newsletter, we have given award for the best article, which was in 2014 and 15. And after that, long years, we published our first newsletter. And the contributors, of course, they need to be rewarded. So I request to vote for the best article written. We can give first and second also. So all members, because we find out how to poll or participate in this poll. I think our experts, Rajesh Palikari knows any online method or there is how the last time we take the polling for person. Do you have any idea? Or sending the WhatsApp message? Also, we can ask it. So everybody can.
I mean, as of now, that will be the best. We can ask for maybe even go to the upload.
So if nobody is reader, still they can read our.
Yeah. Then we can ask the members to vote for the best.
Okay. So what for them not publicly but on
directly ask them directly to you WhatsApp.
Okay.
One person, otherwise it will be.
That's good. So we have to appreciate the best articles given. The next point I would like to tell you about the DCP points. So DCP points we are achieving of each member's growth. So whenever you complete each role, you might have seen this project completion record in your competent leadership books. In pathways, also there, a different format. So please complete these forms where what is your listening skills, critical thinking, giving feedback, time management, these all roles are there. So you need to complete this one. As soon as you complete each project, please write down. Otherwise you will forget. But pathways, no need. You have to log in immediately after each project. So all the records are in online. But those who are following all method, CC manual or CC leadership skills, need to complete these projects. Each project we are getting DCP points. So our club will get distinguished club in a year. So we need to achieve that one. That is 10 points. Sure, of course, we will achieve that one. So those who are not completed, I request and I am asking BP memberships to coordinate this one. Because those who are completing the projects, we don't know what is his strength, how many projects he completed, what is his listening skill capacity in a diagrammatic way. Then only we will come to know that we are something and we have completed business levels. So to give confidence in ourselves, this type of credibility is best for us. Improve. This is self-confidence methods and also giving improvements where we reached. Because a lot of members are completing their projects, but they don't know where they reached. The next point I would like to tell you, DTAC, this District Toastmasters Annual Conference. Hi. Welcome Toastmasters Classic. We started. The District Toastmasters Annual Conference is going to happen in April 2019, April 25-27 between. So anybody not registered, I request you to register because this is one of the work we need to participate. And of course, next meeting we will celebrate. Why? New Year, and also Christmas. So the next meeting we will celebrate with color of themes. You can choose any colors. Our dress code not formal. I think the best apt color is red. We can come with a red dress, so it will be better. We can invite some of our old members, all presidents, those who are the founder of these clubs. So next meeting in 7th of January, of course we will celebrate that meeting with cutting cake and also our New Year resolutions. Did anybody started to write down your resolutions? New Year is coming.
We already vote you in the term of ExCom members.
Yeah, that is another resolution.
And continuing my last year's resolution.
Can you
Start your New Year resolutions.
Losing the way.
No, not to take any resolution.
If you don't know, I am going to read out 5 points just for your information, simple resolutions, which I read out. One of the famous person who is our Toastmasters International President, Lard Dole, the President for the year for 2018-19, that's current President written. Toastmasters 5 tips for making New Year's resolution mistakes. Simple things, make a list. Writing your goals down makes them tangible. Checking back your resolution and goal often will help keep you on track to meet them. Go on. The second thing, start small. Be realistic and honest with yourself. Start with a goal that is easy to achieve in a short time and gain a sense of accomplishment. Make the resolution specific and time bound. Third one, set manageable goals. Although you might have several goals, refrain from creating a list that is too daunting and or difficult to achieve. So manageable goals. The fourth one, hold yourself accountable. Sharing your goals and experience with family and friends will help keep you focused on meeting your objectives. Another one, celebrate your success. Your confidence will grow with each goal you achieve. Keep working on your list and stay positive. So with this note, I would like to tell you meeting number 194 is open. Now let me invite today's captain of the ship, Toastmaster Ramraj, for leading us another 2 hours almost. Welcome, Toastmaster Ramraj.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek, for giving your introduction. I have taken today's theme as true happiness for today's meeting. True happiness is a state of mind. For me, true happiness is the happiness why I feel when my surrounding persons, as relatives or friends who are known to me, are happy. That way, when they are happy means I feel that is the true happiness for me. Coming back to this 194th meeting. Now let us look at the agenda for the meeting. There are some changes in the agenda. We have timer. Toastmaster Yunus Hussain will be taking as timer's role. And for the hour counter, we have Toastmaster Anup Gupta. And the table topics will be taken by Toastmasters Vivek Ayavan. And the general evaluator will be Toastmaster Mohammed Ashraf. Thought of the day will be given now by myself. I'll be giving the thought of the day as the same thing what I have taken as a theme. That is the true happiness. This English writer, Samuel Johnson, he has given his way of explaining the true happiness. What he says about the true happiness consists not in the multitude of friends, but their worth and choice. Poor role players comes here, I would like to inform them the way they take their true happiness in their life. As to the Samuel Johnson, he is an English writer, poetist, philanthropist. What he says that we are what our thoughts make us. Our thoughts are decided by what we see and hear in our conscious awareness. Our surroundings and circumstances decide on what we see and hear. Just like the temperature around us affect us, our surroundings affect our thought quality. One important choice we have to make is the choice of people whom we want to move. Sometimes we say that we know the personality of the person. Let's say that personality of the person decides to whom you have associated with, like your friends. If you have a set of friends, you know what type of personality you will have. That's one way of judging the personality of the person. One important notice we have to make is the choice of the people whom we want to move and with the people we want to move with. We have limited time and we have to use the same intelligently. When we move with the people, their thought quality affects us and what they say and do affect our character, habits and attitude. These parameters decide what we say and do. For example, in the company of those who love books, we will come to know what to read. Again, it's a personality. In the company of those who love music, we come to know what to hear. In the company of sports lovers, we come to know what sports to watch. Once we decide our mission in life, we have to decide our long-term, medium-term and short-term goals. Once we are clear about this, the next stage is resource mobilization. Our friend circle should propel and encourage us into action and not bitterness. Try to do small audit of your friends by asking a power question. Am I being surrounded by such people who will help me to realize my ambitions in my life? If not, what should I do? Now I request our role players to come forward and give their roles. We have our founder Anup Gupta. He'll be. Please come forward. You tell us about our founder, the objective of this our founder. Anup Gupta.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My role will be, I will be counting the number of pause taken by the contestants. How many times they are taking pause, like like that. So I will be counting for each contestant.
Now I request our timer, Toastmaster Yunus Hussain, to come forward and inform about the timing rules.
Yeah, good evening everybody.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Fine. Today I will be performing timer role. My responsibility will be to monitor the participants, those who will be giving prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluators also. So at the end of each meeting, I will be noting the time of the participants, and if the participants, and I will let you know whether they have delivered the speeches within the time frame or not. If they are delivering the speech within the time frame, then they are qualified. If they are not delivering, if they are taking more time to deliver the speech, then they are disqualified from the timer's perspective. For the prepared speeches, the time limit is from 5 to 7 minutes, and 30 seconds grace period is there. So at 5 minutes I will be showing the green light. At 6 minutes I will be showing the amber light, and at 7 minutes I will be showing the red light. And for the evaluators, the time frame is 2 to 3 minutes, and 30 seconds grace is there for him also. For them also, at 2 minutes I will show the green light, and at the 2.5 minutes I will show the amber light, and at 3 minutes I will show the red light. I think so.
For the icebreaking speech.
And for the icebreaker speech, the time frame is from 4 to 6 minutes. So, thank you. Thanks.
The next role player is Wordmaster, the Canadian. I request Toastmaster Shivkumar to come forward and talk about the Wordmaster.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Toastmaster Shivkumar. I will be playing a role of Wordmaster today, from Canadian as well. To go in sync with the theme today, true happiness lies in helping people, for me especially. But actually, for the last 30 years where I have been, my age is around 33 now, I find my true happiness lies in fantasies most of the times, because true happiness usually comes with success. For success you need to strive hard, and I'm a lazy person in general. So leaving all these, I started helping people. From there I'm actually getting the true happiness. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Let me continue with my role. As a word master, my role is to introduce a new word to the meeting. The word introduced is to increase the vocabulary, a word that can be incorporated easily in everyday conversation, and this is expected to be used by members during the meeting. And the word of the day is onus, which means burden, onus of responsibility, burden of responsibility on anyone's shoulders. So just to give an example, all of us have an onus of responsibility on our shoulders to take our Mussafah club forward with a maximum participation and active participation. And a couple of examples are given in this sheet. The onus of responsibility for identifying fraudsters should lie with fraudsters' bank. And another example is he called for an end to violence on all sides, but placed the onus on the reject. This is actually a Latin word, and in British English, if you say that the onus is on someone to do something, you mean it is either duty or responsibility to do it. Can all of us say onus once? Onus of responsibility. Yeah. So let us try to use this across the meeting whenever chance comes to you. And as a grammarian, I'll be responsible for commenting on the language usage during the course of the meeting. Throughout the meeting, I'll be listening to everyone's word usage, writing down any acquired use or misusage of language, incomplete sentences, sentences that change the direction in midstream, incorrect grammar, malapropisms, with a note who ever did. I will also write down the usage of word as I said earlier, and I'll be telling at the end of the meeting who have used how many times. Thank you so much.
Let us give a big round of applause to the word. Coming to the next role, we have table topic master. Toastmaster Vivek Ayyapan will be delivering the table topics. I request Toastmaster Vivek Ayyapan to come forward and give the table topic.
Good evening once again. I am your table topic master for today's meeting. This is a fun portion of the meeting. It allows us to practice our impromptu speaking skills. Table topic also allows every member who does not already have a speaking role to speak at the meeting. I have prepared topics which I will introduce shortly. Each person is given 1 minute to look at their topics, which is 30 seconds, something wrong here. And then they can speak minimum 1 minute to 2 minutes and 30 seconds basically.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek. The most important role is the general evaluation for any meeting, and this will be given by Toastmaster Muhammad Ashraf. I request Mr. Muhammad Ashraf to come forward and give the general evaluation rules.
Hi, good evening everyone. Thank you for giving this opportunity. We will talk about true happiness. So there is a saying that true happiness, when I feel happiness means when I feel something for others, when I make others happy and I see that he is getting happiness or he is enjoying his life, then only I will feel more happy rather than I find something myself or shortcut for myself to have some sort of happiness. We talk about the G role. Taking on this role involves critical thinking, organization, time management, motivation, and team building skills. As the general evaluator, I will be evaluating everything that takes place during the club meeting. So I will be coming out more during my general evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Muhammad Ashraf. Now coming back to the serious roles for today's meeting. We have serious listeners. Today we have 3 speakers on the Pathways projects. Before that, I would like to introduce the guests of today's meeting. I request Mr. Vishu Mohan to come forward and introduce yourself.
your publications. What is that? Newsletter in the WhatsApp group. Actually, I was much impressed on that. Powers is a new club which is formed just 5-6 months back, exactly in March last year in Abu Dhabi. This is a TK Alumni Toastmasters. It was started on within the TK Alumni. Our members felt a need for such a club, and all of us were new to Toastmasters. We were not having any experience Toastmasters during that time, and I was burdened with the responsibility of being the founder, president of TK Alumni Toastmasters, and I exactly came over here to understand how the club functions, another club functions, and learn from all of you. I could see that very friendly atmosphere over here. You do have a wonderful venue with art of facilities, and I really appreciate that. I don't have to add more. Thank you very much for your successful day today and the progress in the Toastmasters. We will be very frequently interacting with each other so that we can learn each other and we can understand and we can progress together. Thank you.
Today, we have one Gabriel. So coming back to the serious business of today's session, we have 3 speakers taking different pathway projects. Today's speaker number 1 is Toastmaster Shiv Kumar. He is a senior consultant. He has already taken multiple roles here. He is a senior IT consultant in Mussafah in Abu Dhabi. Veteran speaker, married, having and blessed with one daughter, who will be delivering his first project in the Pathways Level 2. Now I request the evaluator, Toastmaster Rajesh Palikade, who is a QC manager in NPCC, to read the objectives for the Pathway 2 for this project number 3. Toastmaster Rajesh Palikade, can you come forward?
Toastmaster of the evening, today Toastmaster Shiv Kumar is delivering his first day level 2 first project. That is understanding your leadership skill. The objectives of this speech is, the purpose of this project is to member to identify his primary leadership styles, and the purpose is for the member to share some aspect of his or his primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. All the best for it.
Thank you. Now I welcome Toastmaster Shiv Kumar to come forward and deliver his speech. And the speech title is Innovative Planning. Toastmaster Shiv Kumar.
Just to correct, speech title is KGS. Innovative planning is my pathways. A leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. This is said by a famous author and a philanthropist who is from America called John Kelvin Maxwell. This quotation is something which is very closer to my way of leadership, my style of leadership. Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and guests, a warm good evening to all of you. As I said earlier, a leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way to the team or the people whom he is leading. And I think this is very, very important characteristic of any leader. First one is knowing the way. Knowing the way means you should know in what situation you are and what is a solution for a particular problem. If you know the way, it is really easy to guide the people and be the successful person. It was not so hard, but actually we were going through a problematic situation in our life when our kid, only daughter, was not listening to us. She was so mischievous and we felt at some point of time that we could not handle her. And whenever we say something to do, she makes sure to do something completely opposite to that. Whenever we go to shopping mall, she stands in front of each shop and says, I want this further, I want this papa. Unless we buy that or unless we make her satisfied, we could not move out of that shopping mall at all. Such a kind of situation we were in. And whenever she is making noise, and when we say, please be silent, she says, okay, I will be silent. Should I be silent like this or this? She would be making more sound and she will be making us frustrated a little more. So this was our situation. And on a very bad day, my mood was totally wrong. I went to her and I said, see Danya, you are a grown-up child now and you should not behave like this. You should behave yourself. Then she seriously looked at me close and straight into my eyes and said, okay Papa, I will listen to you. Then I turned around, again the same business. So I got so much frustrated. On that day, I learned something which is clear to my mind, that the way I'm nurturing my child is completely wrong. I should change myself first. So I sat for a while and I sat thorough. I have gone through my thought process, and then I understood that yes, we should keep ourselves calm first whenever she is making some mistakes. So this kind of solution came in my mind and I led the family, and by God's grace we are happy now. So whether you are leading a family or a team, what is important is to find a solution, to know the way for a particular problem. This is first characteristic of any leader. The second one, which I feel is very important, is to go the way. It is just not so important to find the solution, but you actually have to put it in practice. If you don't put it in practice, your team will not be knowing. When I was actually working for a bank in Kuwait, when I joined newly, on the first week, I was called to a meeting with the HR director. I was actually working as a HR administrator in that bank, who is responsible to develop big solutions for the whole bank and completely taking care of HR and payroll solutions. So HR director called me and said, this is the year end and you have 2 people reporting to you and you have to make appraisal system so enhanced in just 5 days. I thought myself, are you freaking kidding me? Just in 5 days, whole solution? That's not possible. Then I came back to my original state and I said, sir, this is not possible at all, please. Then he said, no, you have to do it. You have 2 people reporting to you. I went back to them and he said, see, in my previous projects, I have used so much of coding, so we can reuse that and we can implement all this stuff. So let us sit together and do it. They simply asked me, who has agreed for this target? Of course, it's me. Then you do it. Then I came back and I sat. Actually, I thought of making myself exemplary to the team, and I sat whole day and night in fact, and I developed the solution in just 5 days and made it live. This actually made our team to gain a lot of attention and a lot of appreciation from the manager. This is something standing exemplary to your team. Third characteristic is showing the right way. Showing the right way is very, very important. Keeping all your urges all your grudges, all your partialities aside, you should be directing your team in a right way. That is something which is very important. And I can strongly say that this is one of the best characteristics of me. At least in the last 1 year, I experienced it very closely. I was actually taking care of HR and payroll systems for the last 3 years in a company. And looking at the burden and the overload of the work I have, my client manager suggested to have 2 people under me. So I started recruiting and I was not satisfied with anyone because I was actually looking for someone who is perfectionist, who is just like me. But at this point of time or in this market, it is really difficult to find anyone who is similar or who is so skilled and with a less salary. So, okay, fine. So I recruited a couple of people, I changed all of them again, 3-4 times I changed the people. After so much of struggle, I came to know that it's no use in changing the people. But what you have to do is, you have to nurture the people, you have to show the right direction so that people will be useful to you. That's what I learned. So, to conclude my speech, I do believe that a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shivakumar, for that wonderful speech. KGS, knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. This is a true quality of a leader, any leader. Well done. Coming back to the next speech, we have Toastmaster Naufal. He will be doing his pathways, project number 3. And this speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Vivek. I request Toastmaster Vivek Ayman to come forward and give the objectives of project 3 of Toastmaster Naufal.
Good evening once again, especially Toastmaster Naufal MK. Toastmaster Naufal MK is going to do today's pathway projects. The purpose of this speech is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any of the topics. So Toastmaster Naufal is going to deliver a basic research today. What is that? Let us hear from Toastmaster Naufal.
Toastmaster Naufal, he is an accountant working in Abu Dhabi. So I request Toastmaster Naufal to give his speech. Over to you.
In 1969, an international company, IBM, an engineer, Forrest Perry, who was working there, he was hardly inventing a new research, which was magnetic strip to stick on plastic board. He was researched various type of things, but unfortunately everything was getting failed. He got frustrated. He was continuously trying, but nothing was happening. And finally, he just threw it all the things, and he has taken the piece of the cards and that strip, and he went to his home. When he reached his home, his wife was ironing the clothes. So she asked to him, "What's wrong with you?" He explained the story. So she said, "Try mine." He started to laugh. "Are you making fun?" And finally, he was thinking, yes, there is something. And he found, after a while, he just tried that strip with the magnetic plastic, he just made it iron. It was success, and there is one history is born, which is today we are using a magnetic strip or a swipe card or a chip. Toastmaster, good evening. Hello, members, guests, warm good evening. So let's go for the detail about the card system by our slide. Let me show you that how it is working in our daily life. Diversity of invention. The speech title is that classification of the smart cards, which we are using in our daily life. Magnetic strip card, which one I have shown you. And the next thing is the smart chip card. And another one is the RFID or tag card. The magnetic strip, that all people are using that one. We have that card. What is it? This is the magnetic strip, this area. This path is the strip. What is the card actually? Magnetic strip technology allows data to be stored on the conventional plastic card by magnetically charging tiny bits within the magnetic strip on one side of the card. And the function of the card, how the card is processing. The strip on the back side gets composed magnetic particles and encased in plastic-like tab. Each magnetic particle is a strip is a tiny magnetic about 20 millionths of the inch in long. That means inside is that much data is stored. When all the bar magnetic is polarized and the same direction, the magnetic strip is blank and informing. This is the technical details, and when the data is encoding on the behind of the strip, it is gone to the respective servers, and the server is returned into the card. As per that, card is functioning. This is the type of the card we are using, the swiping. And the visualization of the magnetical stored information, the strip. When that we are swiping, that time what happening in behind of the card. Because this is the form of the waves is stored. And that what after the store, what happening, how the payment is processing. Magnetic data transaction, electronic payment. This is the formation. Data encoded into F2F format and conventionally magnetic strip. After that, induced signal magnetic reader at when that card being swiped. This is the process is behind of it's happening. And the next one is a smart card. Which one is the small chip, EME chip? What is the function of that card? How it is working? Smart card chip integrated with a small circuit. It is the next, after that only it is founded. It is after that, I think it's in 1975 or something exactly. And the next one is the advanced level of the card. This is the item. I think it's only few people are, I think it's used that one. RFI card, it's a radio frequency. With that only it is effective. This is working through that. And however, all the facilities we are using, but there is, as a person, we are getting enough merits, and as well as there is a demerits also. So let's go for the merit side of the card system. card system inside is a smart card, plastic card, built a microcomputer chip and integrated circuit can store a lot of data. The technical details are there, but the thing is what there is, it's very flexible, we can use that one, especially we can save enough time. That is the major benefit of these things. And the demerits, if you go through the demerits, there is a fraudulent things are there, and it is a production, it's very costly. That is the demerits of the card, these things. So my request is to be used all these things, be safe and secure with ourselves. Thank you all.
Thank you, Toastmaster Northern, for that wonderful information about credit cards, swipe cards. Now I request about the third speaker. Third speaker is Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster Jamila, who will be giving the icebreaking speech on pathways. And this speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Rashid. I request Toastmaster Rashid to come forward and give the objectives of pathways. Speech, icebreaking speech. Before that, I would like to know your view about that true happiness.
Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. I was away for a while, just coming back to Toastmasters again. True happiness, I think, in simple terms, life is very simple. Very simple, very simple. We're not sure whether we'll wake up tomorrow morning, but we think about all complicated things every day and make it miserable. True happiness is very simple. Life is very simple. We make it complicated and we make it miserable. So hope we all will be happy if you just take life very simple. Actually, this was supposed to be evaluated by Rashid. There's a similarity of name. Toastmaster Prazik. Rashid is my cousin, by the way, so I'm happy that I'm covering for him. He brought me to Toastmasters actually. So just, you could have multiple speeches in your Toastmasters career, but you will only have one icebreaker in your Toastmasters journey. So let me just congratulate you for being in the Toastmasters and deciding to start your Toastmasters speaker journey, and good luck first. A quick look at, of course, there will be a lot of, as we said, true happiness. It's very simple. So evaluation of an icebreaker, I think it's very simple because we don't have to even follow all the kind of complications as Toastmasters guideline says that we don't have to take a lot of ratings. We just need to kind of look at the person's speech and see, encourage and support to become a great speaker in life. So it is for 4 to 6 minutes. Good luck. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rashid. In fact, originally this speech was evaluated by Rashid. Unfortunately, he was not able to come today, so we had taken place and taken by Toastmaster Rashid. Thanks for that. And now I request Madam Toastmaster Jamila to come forward. Madam Toastmaster Jamila, she is an IT professional and working in Abu Dhabi, and she is working for the last maybe 5-6 years here in Abu Dhabi, and now she is blessed with 2 daughters, 2 children. Sorry. And I request Toastmaster Madam Toastmaster Jamila to give her speech.
Thank you. Aspera and astra. It's a Latin word meaning through difficulties to the stars. It took me almost 6 months to join the Mussafah Toastmasters after we shifted to Abu Dhabi. Today, I am very glad to stand up on this podium to deliver my first speech, the icebreaker. I just wonder, why did it take so long? It could be the procrastination, or my inner fear of facing the public audience, or my triple roles as a working woman, as a responsible wife, or a mother of 2 kids. Whatever it may be, I have realized that now my further professional growth in the managerial level is purely dependent on my communication and leadership skills and can't afford waiting any longer. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, a warm good evening to one and all. I was born in a small town in Kerala, Vadagara, in a middle class family. My father was a businessman who is no more, and mother a housewife. My parents named me Jamila, which means beautiful in Arabic. You might be wondering what a paradox it is. I have got 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and I am the middle one. I was privileged to enjoy the love and affection of elder brother, elder sister, younger brother, and younger sister. However, I was not the kid who was born with a golden spoon in the mouth. Academically, I was always topper in my classes. I did my pre-degree and degree in a famous college in Kerala, Farooq College, which is known as the Aligarh of South India. I secured very high marks in pre-degree, and in degree, I was the topper in my college in BSc Physics stream. After my graduation, I got all India entrance exam and got admission for MCA in another famous university in Kerala, CUSAT, Cochin University of Science and Technology. And I was the 4th rank holder at the university. It was my all-time wish to get married before I complete my studies, and it did happen so. When I was doing my 2nd semester of MCA, I got engaged with Mr. Ashraf. After our engagement, he went to Bahrain, and I continued my studies for 2 more years. When I was doing the final semester of my MCA, I got campus placement to work in a US-based company in Bangalore, and US-based company in Bangalore. After that, Mr. Ashraf came back to India and we got married and lived in Bangalore for almost a year. In 2001, Mr. Ashraf decided to come to Dubai, and I continued working in Bangalore for 6 more months. In April 2002, I also joined him in Dubai, and thereafter our life started in this beautiful part of the world. Initially, it was very difficult for me to get a good job in IT companies in Dubai. I kept on changing my job until I found the one I was looking for. In 2004, we were blessed with our first princess, Sana. After taking 3 months rest, I started working again in a Pakistan-based IT company, and from there I learned a lot. During this time, whenever I used to pass by Danata Emirates Group head office in Dubai, I used to dream that one day I will get into this office, because I have heard through some of my friends that there is a big IT division for Emirates Group and it's located in this block tower building. In 2006, I got an interview call from Emirates Airline, and I joined there as a software engineer. And I worked there for 11 years. When things were going smoothly, in 2014, we were blessed with our 2nd child, Hannah, after a long gap of 10 years. After working in Emirates for 11 years, I was looking for a change, and thanks to God, I got my current job in Abu Dhabi in last December to the exact domain, which is nothing but the big data and the artificial intelligence. The technology which is going to make huge impact in every sphere of our life. I strongly believe that through my smallest steps, I have become a star star now, and I will continue my efforts to become a bigger star. I would like to compare my life with Robert Frost's sayings. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster and Madam Toastmaster Jamila, for that wonderful speech. The present generation, how women are taking multiple roles. Even sometimes they find it difficult to take multiple roles in the Toastmaster meeting. Whereas in the real life, they are taking multiple roles as a wife, as a working woman, as well as they are taking care of the children. Great. Now I request our timer to inform the timing taken by all the three speakers.
Once again, good evening everybody. It's really good news that most of our speakers today presented their speeches within the time frame. First, Toastmaster Shiva, he has taken 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So he has qualified. And Mr. Toastmaster Gopal, he has delivered the speech within 6 minutes and 25 seconds. So he is also qualified. Toastmaster Zabida, she has taken 5 minutes and 25 seconds. She is also qualified. So congratulations.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Now I am requesting our audience to give the voting. Ballots are with you. Please vote for the best speakers. Again, when we talk about the true happiness, again it depends upon individual attitude. How you take up problems in life. Like our Rashid told that, take everything simple. If you take the simple, you can be happy throughout your life. Now let us go to the evaluation side. We have 3 evaluators for doing the evaluation. And the time taken by each evaluator, our Toastmaster will be talking about the time rules. Please inform the time rules of evaluation.
Yeah, for the evaluators, the time limit is from 2 to 3 minutes. 30 seconds grace period is there. At 2 minutes I will show the green light. At 2.5 minutes I will show the amber light. And at 3 minutes I will show the red light.
Thank you. A big round of applause to all the speakers. Now coming back to the evaluation, our first evaluator will be Toastmaster Rajesh Pallikere. We will be evaluating Toastmaster Shiv Kumar. I request Toastmaster Rajesh Pallikere to come forward and give the evaluation.
Toastmaster of the day, welcome guests, and especially Toastmaster Shiv Kumar. Good evening. Actually, the purpose of this speech was to know is the leadership skill. Did we understand what is this leadership skill? Know your way, goes your way, and shows your way. That is a good leader. And he proved how he is following all these 3 aspects. So to start with any speech, you should have a very good constructed script. And he constructed the script such a way, he had a lot of self-stories and experience, which audience was grasped with this. It is the best way to speak about yourself. And he knows that, how to script a speech. And it is not only the script, in the speech that you have to